Hello everyone, welcome, Happy New Year. How did you start this new year, 2026? And today we chose the topic from forceful resolution, mindful intention as a way of starting this new year. Usually at the beginning of new year we make a new year resolution. Did you make some? What are those? Let's have a moment about your new year resolution. What you really wanted to try, what you really wanted to achieve this year, and the items that you chose. And what are the choices? What are the choices that you made, and what have you been doing about those? And or I would like to ask, what kind of energy do you feel about that? The idea of the mindful intention instead of the forceful resolution is usually when we make the resolution, the success rate is honestly very low. How about yours? If you made the resolution every year, how successful or how much, if you evaluate your accomplishment, how has it been so far? Even when I look at my the choices that I made in the beginning of the year, and sometimes I wouldn't say I kept my commitment to that through the year, and then I really achieved what I selected in the beginning of the year. There are many reasons, and sometimes because things are not always in our control. When things happen, then we need to change our path, adjust our choices. That's very normal. But even our attention, our commitment to our own choices, it's not easy to maintain it for several months, even a year. So usually, the making a resolution is it's very normal. A lot of people we do. It's kind of common practice, but also not maintaining our focus on that and not achieving our resolution. It's also kind of normal. So a lot of people made the resolution, but actually lose their attention to them. And there's a reason for that. Usually, in order to keep the resolution, in order to achieve them, we need force and also discipline. Both force and discipline. For some of the choices that we make in our life, we know that we need to use our force and we need discipline. But actually, what happens inside our brain, using the force and developing discipline is not actually most natural way of working with our brain. I mean, in many cases, it's working against our brain because we have to overcome, in order to use a force or develop discipline. We have to overcome the resistance of our the existing patterns, existing habit. So making something change in our habit and lifestyle, in our pattern, habit, in our lifestyle, it's not always. It doesn't come always naturally. We have to overcome resistance, which means we have to work against our brain. So that's why that's the most important reason why it's not always easy to keep our attention, keep our energy for the New Year resolution. So the different idea that I'm proposing is mindful intention, meaning instead of instead of focusing on progress, we focus on direction. We just focus on the goals, and then we set our intention in that direction every moment, every day. Instead of focusing on doing, we keep our we keep our attention in the direction, and then that's the first one. So it starts from reminding ourselves. Reminding every morning, every moment, we remind ourselves what we want. Instead of focusing on the goals that we selected, like something written on a paper, that's just a memory. That's just intellectual memory. That's information. But reminding what we want is go deeper. It's not remembering what we wrote. It's about reminding what I want now. That's a difference. It's a real time refocusing, reminding ourselves what I want, and then redirecting our attention in that direction. And the second part of the mindful intention is engaging heart, not just the head. In many cases, that's another reason why it's not easy to keep our attention to our choices and also lose our energy, because we don't engage, we don't involve our heart. We can try it now. If you already decided what you want and your New Year resolution, ask one more question: why did you choose them? Is it because you heard a lot about those things from other people? Maybe it can be your parents or friends or your spouses or even your children. And they told you that you should do this and you should be like that. Is that one of the reasons? The reason why people around you expect that from you? Or is it because you heard something, you read something? For example, your lifestyle change. You have to do a certain amount of exercise, and you have to maintain your body weight. But how did you make those goals? Is it because you read something, or did they give you some instruction? So that's how we make those goals. But actually, none of this. Actually, we didn't go through our heart. We didn't engage our heart. When you feel something, you don't need force. You'll just do it. Like nobody drinks water because you know that. I mean, sometimes we do, but nobody drinks the water all the time just by knowing that your physical body need water. And even if you do that, you have to remember that, and that's how we need to force our body. But if you feel thirsty, you don't need to remember anything. You'll just get up and go get the water and drink it. So that's the power of feeling. So when you have some feeling towards something, you don't need any force. You just do that. So that's why it's important to engage in your heart. One easy way to do that is, after you set the goals, just simply ask this question: what does it feel like? And so what does it feel like means when you have achieved that goal, when you're in that state, when it becomes reality, what does it feel like? And if you don't have a feeling, and if you don't feel positive, or if you don't feel good about the goals, then it looks like your brain selected something that you should have, but actually in the deep inside your body and your heart, you don't want that. And without that, actually, that's how we lose connection with our energy, with source of energy, and then just totally depend on the information only. And that's how we start forcing ourselves and then working against our brain. So if you don't feel anything, if you don't feel excited, if you don't feel positive, if you don't feel good about the goals that you selected, maybe you may need to revise them. Think of again, and then instead of going what you need or what you want, so that's how we usually start asking, what do I want, what do I need? But instead of that, I would suggest ask this question: how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel now? How do I want to feel this year? And then you have a moment. How do I want to feel? And then there might be answer. When you ask that question, if I ask how do I want to feel, there will be answer, not from your head, but from your heart. And then with that, when you have that answer, then you ask the next question: what would make me feel that way? Then you have certain items, and then for each of those, you can ask, what does it feel like? Then you will have a very specific feeling about those items. And then you can select what makes you feel best, what you feel really excited, engaged. You can select those things. That's how we engage our heart. The answer, when you go through this process, the answer that you will have may be different from the answers that when you ask, what do I want, what do I need? But I would suggest if the answers are different, choose the second one, the answer that you get by asking, by engaging your heart. Because that's like the example, when you feel thirsty, you will just go get it and then drink it like that. You will naturally, because that's what you really want from your heart, without forcing yourself, you will naturally, the more you do that, you will feel better. Not because you have to feel better. It naturally comes from your heart. That gives you more energy and help you keep going. So that's the difference. That's that's the direction of the mindful intention. Set the intention, engage your heart. And then the third step about this direction is do not focus, instead of focusing on consistency or continuity. Usually, when we make some goal, then we believe we have to just be consistent. We have to continue without breaking any, without breaking our promises and doing every day and like that. But it needs really a lot of force and a lot of the commitment, a lot of discipline. And sometimes, when we miss 1 day, 2 days, and then we just blame ourselves, and then. So I did it again, and this is how I usually do, how I usually don't keep my resolutions and then just give up. That's kind of the pattern about the making New Year resolution, and put a lot of forceful energy and miss a few days and occasions and then give up. So instead of that, instead of focusing on consistency or continuity, what about focusing on maintain the direction and focus on coming back? Because that's the real meaning of resilience. And we know that the true strength, the reason why resilience is so important is it's not about not failing, but coming up again. That's the main point. So the same thing. Because even if we miss a few days, if you maintain the direction, if you keep coming back, then we'll make progress anyway. Actually, much more progress than trying hard in the beginning and just give up in a few days or in a few months and not doing anything about that for the whole rest of the year. Instead of that, even if we fail, even if we don't keep a few days, just remember coming back and make it. And then set the goal like that. I may fail, that's fine, but I will keep coming back. I will keep maintain this direction, which means when you set the goal, like journey, you may create your itinerary, so you will keep going every day a certain distance. But sometimes it may not work. But it doesn't mean you have to give up the whole journey. You can start. Even if you make a pause in a few days, but you can start again and keep going. By doing that, even one step per day, you can add up. And then eventually, that's how we make progress. Actually, a lot of changes that happen in our life happen like that. The things that we keep trying, keep coming back, even if we miss some time, some days, the things that we keep coming back, the things that we keep coming back to, those are the things that we really achieve and then make progress. So that's a difference. The first one, do not focus on the progress, focus on direction, maintain the direction. And second one is engage your heart. And third one, do not focus on continuity or consistency, but focus on coming back, returning by as a way of resilience. So when you do this, it may be at a slow pace, but you will definitely, if you keep doing this throughout the year, I believe you will have much more accomplishment in that direction at the end of the year. So that's the kind of alternative way of making resolution and practice and create changes. There's another reason for this. We are in recent years, there are a lot of changes in our life, not on a personal level, but in everywhere, including new technology and then climate patterns and all those things. Especially technology, the changes that's happening now will have nothing will be the same every year, even every day. So we are living in the rapid change, which will affect everybody's life on a global scale. When this kind of rapid change is happening, sometimes actually going slower will be helpful instead of doing harder or going faster. Because when the rapid change happens like this, the direction is really important. Not the amount, but the direction is really important. The amount of energy, the amount of work that we do, if it's a because the changes happening very rapidly, if it's a wrong direction, actually it'll be much harder to change it later. So in this kind of situation, I would say instead of using our energy to go faster, I would suggest slow down and have pause and really have time for reflection about the direction that we are moving. Is it really aligned with what we really want? And then have time to engage your heart to make sure that it comes from not just from information, but from your whole being. So if you didn't make any New Year resolution, I think that's great. You can still do that, and also we don't need to try to make it fast. Just slow down, have a peaceful moment, and have time to deeply reflect on what do we really want, and get the answer by engaging our heart, and also remind that the point is coming back, not just maintaining the consistency. So with that kind of mindset, having more time for reflection and observe yourself and what's happening around, and make sure that everything is aligned. And then by engaging our heart, ask those questions and find your answers to that. That's how I think we can change the way we set the goal every year. So that's the difference between by using the force and the discipline, overcoming resistance, working against our brain. From there, to mindful intention. So mindful intention, you have an intention but also need attention. So it's a combination of attention and intention. Have the intention, but you maintain attention toward that direction. So let's have a moment to practice. Let's try what I explained so far. So close your eyes. And to ground yourself, feel your feet. By feeling your feet, you are here and now. And become aware of your breathing. And then ask the question, how do I want to feel? If you have an answer from your heart, then ask next question. What would make me feel that way? By asking those questions, focus on your heart. Do not follow thoughts, ideas, information. Be present. Feel your feet. Be aware of your breathing while you are asking the question and feeling your heart. Okay, take deep breath. Breathe in with your low abdomen and out through mouth. Again, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, take deep breath, breathe in, and bending your upper body, breathe out through mouth completely. And return, and rub your hands, and massage your face, your hair, ears, neck, chest, all the way down, and breathe out, refresh your energy. Now have a moment, and if you have a paper and pen nearby, or you can remember, but I would recommend write it down, the answers that you got by asking those questions. How do I want to feel? And what would make me feel that way? And if there are other things that you really want, you can add those items to the list as well. And have a moment for now. If you have a list in front of you, then look at each of them. Each of them. and ask, what does it feel like when I have that, when I accomplish that? What does it feel like? So one by one, or you can, this is kind of imagination, but it's not just a visualization. It's, I would say, you can say, you are imagining the feeling. You are not just imagining the images. You are imagining the feelings related to these goals. What does it feel like? Okay, now you can sitting like this, or you can stand. You can stand up and walk around. For each of item, when you ask the question, what does it feel like? There will be some feeling. Even maybe it's very subtle, so it may not easy to notice. Because usually that's how our heart talks. It's not shout. It's whisper. Your heart whispers. It doesn't talk loud. So it may be very subtle, but if you focus, you will get some signal from your heart. So for each of item, what does it feel like? If there's a feeling, allow the feeling to be expressed through your body. Some gesture, some movement, whatever the feeling is, just allow it to come out. Allow it to be expressed through your body. So we'll have a 1 or 2 minutes. We'll have a 2 minutes. So you may close your eyes or with eyes open, but keep focusing on that signal from your heart. You can move around or sitting, but allow that signal, allow that feeling to be expressed through your body. Some gesture, hand movement, or just smile, or some dancing, whatever that is. The reason why I'm asking you to do this is when you have an idea, when you engage your heart, when you do something aligned with that, that's how you become whole in that direction. That's how you really use natural energy, not force, for that goal. If you keep practicing, this will become clearer, more concrete. So after today, if you really want to make progress and move in that direction, then this is something that you can do every day. So after you selected your goal, you don't need to complete this through this webinar, but I would recommend do this on your own. Have time to reflect, asking, how do I want to feel? What would make me feel that way? And then you can still add more items to that, and then make the list. And then if you can choose all of these, but you can still select some of these and finalize your list. And then for each of item, ask the question, what does it feel like? And then express that feeling. So every morning with this list, you remember, you look at this. By reminding this, you are resetting your intention. It's like adjusting your direction every moment, every day. And then ask the question, what does it feel like? And then do something related to that. Sometimes it can be allowing that signal, that feeling to be expressed through your body. Sometimes it can be going out and do some exercise, or drinking water, or making a phone call. It may be reading an article, but do something physical, do something that you use your body. Not just something you're doing in your mind. Something that you do by using your body, even small things. So starting your day like that. So you remind yourself, reset your intention in that direction, engage your heart, and use your physical body. So by this is how you integrate your mind, heart, and body all together. So as a whole being, you're moving in that direction. So you are starting your engine in this way every day. So the pace may be different, but you definitely you move in that direction naturally. So I would recommend doing this every morning as your daily routine. So have the idea, and then if you already have the list, that's great. If you don't, then have a moment for this, and then make the list for each of item. Practice with the question, what does it feel like, and then use the same process every morning as your daily routine, and let's see how we are moving forward. So that's pretty much what I wanted to explain about the difference, the distinction of mindful intention, how we can achieve our goals in a different way. And another thing that I would recommend related to this practice is journaling. So this is how you start in the morning, but at the end of the day, you do another time for reflection, and then have a time for what happened, how things happen. It's not for judgment. This is just also open mind reflection. Open mind, open heart reflection, not for judgment, not for blaming. When you do the journaling, what I usually do when do the for myself, and also when during a retreat, what I usually practice with the participant at the evening journaling is the first just writing your answer to 3 questions. The first question is, one thing that I did, what is one thing? Just one thing, not the whole list. Just one thing. What is the one thing that I did well today? And second question is, what is the one thing that I could have done better today? And the last question is, what is the one thing that I will change tomorrow? It's about yourself. It's not about your position or your connection with other people. Those are the things that you cannot change just on your own. But this is about your pattern, something that you recognize, something that you don't think about time or amount of time, amount of effort about this. So let's really simplify it. No matter how daunting, no matter how overwhelming that change is, just select that. And if you, again, it doesn't mean you need to do it, you need to complete it tomorrow. So the point is coming back, not giving up. Doing hard and giving up. We won't get anything by doing that. So the point is resilience, coming back, not giving up, without forcing. So those are 3 questions. The first one, what is the one thing that I did well today? The second question, what is the one thing that I could have done better today? And the last one, what is one thing that I will change tomorrow? And just write the answer to that. And then tomorrow morning, as part of your daily routine, just you go over that and then remember what you wrote, especially the last one thing that I want to change tomorrow. And align that what you are already doing. Actually, what I learned from this and what I also saw how other people are doing, the more you do this, actually the more you feel aligned with in the direction, actually it's much easier to use energy. So you expedite, you speed up. So eventually, actually the change of speed or the effectiveness will become much greater than trying hard using your force. In the beginning, maybe this may look like slow paced, but actually eventually you will get much more energy and you will pick up the speed. And then what's most the beneficial about this is changes become natural. Changes will feel natural. It's not forced and easier, like flowing in the water, like practicing Qigong or Tai Chi. So those are so that's how, by combining this, using the mindful intention for change and making your daily routine and have a moment for reflection at the end and asking those questions, combining this, doing every day. Maybe someday you may skip, but still we can apply the same concept to this practice itself. You may not do it one day or 2 days, that's fine. Just don't forget to coming back. So by doing this, and then after that, I think we can apply the same thing, not only changes that we do on our personal level, we can do the same thing for the changes that's happening in the world now. And I talked about this topic in the previous webinar. It was about, it's related to this, taking back our attention. And that's this is not separate from the previous topic, taking back, reclaiming your attention and redirect it toward what really matters to all of us. So we can do this on our personal level, but also we can do the same thing about the big changes that are happening in our world. And then, because as I explained in the previous webinar, the way we use our attention actually shape our life, our personal life, but also will shape the future of the world. So overall, this practice will help us to use our attention more mindfully. And I believe by using our attention, by using the power of our attention, one of the messages that I shared through that is attention is your asset. Attention is your sovereignty. You have a right, exactly the same way that we have a right for our life or possessions, we have the same right for our attention. But we are not usually managing it well. We are allowing other people, other businesses, other organizations to hijack our mind, to abuse our attention, manipulate our intention, our thoughts. So I think one of the biggest change that we have to make collectively is reclaiming, take back our mind, take back our attention, reclaim our attention and really redirect it to what really matters for each of us personally, but for all collectively. So the practice that I recommended, that I proposed this morning is aligned with this, but we can do the same thing beyond our personal level. So when we do the same thing, if you just imagine the scale of this practice, when everybody's doing that, when everybody watches things, instead of just following the goals, following the goals or advertisement or propaganda, just being exposed to that information, accept that without really reflecting on that, and just follow that path because other people are running in that direction. So instead of that, so as I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, when the rapid changes happening like this, actually direction is much more important than speed. So going faster in the wrong direction, it'll be much more difficult to fix later. So having a moment for reflection, to really time for reflection, really engage our whole being, and then do it on a personal level, but also much bigger, applying the same thing to much bigger changes happening in our world. I think that's how we make the meaningful changes and also align everything happening in our life, in our world, align them in the most important goals, most important values in our life. So that's what I prepared to share with you. I hope you enjoyed the talk and then learn something useful and make meaningful changes, create meaningful changes for yourself and for all of us. So again, thank you for joining today, and Happy New Year. And let's create a lot of great changes in our life, personally and collectively. Okay, thank you. 를